Why does this shot seem to feel more meaningful and cinematic when compared to these shots? There's a simple trick to it that can help any image look more filmic. Let's start here. First, we need to see how we lit this shot so we can understand how to improve it. We started with daylight coming through a window, camera left, but we wanted an indoor night scene, so first of all, we closed the curtains to block the daylight from coming into the room. However, we still have a window on the door in the background, with visible daylight coming through, but we can use this. When we think nighttime, we think cooler, bluer colours, so we simply push the white balance down our camera, so our camera reads this daylight as a cooler temperature, more like nighttime. But it's still a little bright. We hung some white material on a boom arm just outside the door to cut down on the daylight. We didn't completely black it out, as we still wanted some light coming through the door, helping with our nighttime or evening ambience. We then set up a light with a spotlight attachment, and with the door held slightly open, we were able to direct a beam of light through the glass and across the back wall. This made for a nice way to start creating some depth in our image, adding some detail to the back wall, motivated by the dim light already coming through the window. It could be representing moonlight, or maybe even a stylistically cooler toned streetlight. Since we have this light coming through the window, we want to fill in the rest of these dark sections of the image, adding a base level of light in our scene to tie it all together. So we set up a large sheet of bleached muslin material, literally just above our camera lens, and bounced an LED panel into it. Now it looks as if the light from the back window is bouncing all around the room, filling in our shadows. Both the spotlight through the door and the fill light above our camera were set to a similar colour temperature as the initial daylight outside the door, so everything follows a similar tone of blue. So now we've got a base level of light in our scene, with each individual part complementing the whole. But no key light to help our subject stand out. As it's nighttime, let's say we want him lit by a lamp. We set up a small piece of bleached muslin material to the right side of the sofa and bounced an LED panel into it. This was set to a warmer white balance than the rest of the lights in our scene to ensure we're replicating the warm temperature of a household bulb accurately, creating a contrast between our cool nighttime ambience and warm lamplight. Now this is a pretty stylized look. Realistically, if we had a lamp on in a room at night, we wouldn't really be able to see this blue nighttime light at the same time, as in reality, a household bulb would be bright enough to diminish the visibility of any nighttime ambience. So we have an exaggerated look to our lighting, detaching it from reality, and whether we want to or not, we're drawing attention to this fact. This isn't an issue in itself, but when we want to draw our audience into an image and make them forget they're looking at a nice lighting setup, we need a way to convince them that the scene naturally looks this way. So there must be something we can do to make the reality of this image more believable, and actually, we've done this with most of the scene already. Remember the streak of light on the wall and the fill light covering the image are both motivated by the nighttime or evening light coming through this window. So what we need is something to motivate the lamp light on our subject. Well, here's that lamp. Just like the cooler light in our image is motivated by the window, now the warmer light on the face is motivated by the lamp. Look at how such a simple change has grounded our lighting into something that makes much more sense visually. The lighting itself is still stylized, and maybe not something you'd see so clearly in real life, but by using practical elements in our scene to motivate our lighting, everything is connected and believable. Maybe not quite representing real life, but representing the reality of the image. Before we take a look at what's so important about the bulb itself, as well as the intro shot, parts 1, 2, 4 and 5 of my Lighting with Colour mini course are on YouTube now, but you can also download it all with an exclusive part free at my website. Or become a patron and stream the 46-minute tutorial in full. And a big thank you to all my patrons. You're all absolutely wonderful and I really appreciate your support. An important element when using practical lights like lamps in your shot is the bulb itself. We've been propping up this stack of books with the 8-light Aperture Accent B7C bulb kit, and we were actually using one of these bulbs in our lampshade. Now there's a few reasons why using a bulb designed for filmmaking can be beneficial over using a standard household bulb. We can connect to our aperture bulb through Bluetooth, and using an app, we're able to change color temperature, brightness, and even use colors and effects. Since this bulb is designed with filmmaking in mind, the technical aspects of how the colors appear on camera are far more accurate than an LED bulb you might just be using around the house, and we're able to pinpoint specific measurements like color temperature, which actually helped in our scene. Since we pushed the white balance down on our camera toward a cooler look, altering how the colors appear in the shot, we had to make sure the key light on our subject was extra warm to compensate for this cooling down of the image. Since we have full control over the color temperature of our aperture bulb, it was a simple case of matching it to the light on our subject, ensuring the connection between our lamp and key light. On a standard household bulb, with no way to change this color temperature, we would need to physically use color correction gels, which takes far more time and is much more fiddly to implement. Not to mention, if we have no control over the brightness of our bulb, we might not be able to balance the lights in our scene in conjunction with it so easily, potentially leaving us with an extremely bright lamp, which is distracting and disrupts the balance of our image. With our aperture bulb, we can simply adjust the brightness and color temperature through the app to ensure we have a cinematic looking image with controlled, motivated light. Now we know the trick to improving our images through motivated lighting, and we have a tool in which we can do this easily. We can jump back to the shot we saw in the intro. In this shot, we built up a very stylistic look by introducing a blue backlight and blue fill light. Then we turned our lamp on. By utilising the Aperture app, we tinted our bulb toward green for a slightly off-coloured look. However, it wasn't quite bright enough to bring out our subject as much as we wanted it to, so we turned the brightness up to full power. Now this still wasn't bright enough to produce the look we were after, but the bright glow from the lamp worked really well as a contrast to the darker blue in the scene. To achieve the final look, we actually used the rest of our 8-bulb kit, hidden behind the lamp and pointed toward our subject. Also set to full power with a green tint, the group of bulbs provided a soft glow, appearing as if this glow is actually coming from the single lamp itself, and giving us just enough light on the face to make for a very moody image. As with our first scene, we've gone for a very exaggerated, stylized look, not something we're likely to see in reality, but with the motivated link between the lamp and key light, we've grounded the light in this image, providing our audience with an anchor, pulling them into the scene and making the shot more believable within its own reality. Support my channel on Patreon and get extra lighting and shoot breakdowns, along with early, ad-free and extended YouTube videos. I color grade my work using Dehancer. Use my code ROBELLIS to get 10% off. I use music from AudioSocket in my videos. Click my referral link in the video description and use the code ROBELLIS when you sign up for a free month of the best and most diverse range of stock music available. Use my code ROBELLIS over at Zyro to get up to 71% off your website or storefront, with 3 extra months free, along with a custom domain for a year. I use ArtGrid for stock footage. Get an extra 2 months free when you sign up using my link in the video description.